Hello everyone! Today, we're going to explore the psychoanalytic perspective on the inherent nature of human psychology, with the founder of this school of thought being Mr. Sigmund Freud. He discovered that within the human psyche, there are two significant components: the ego and the superego. The ego represents the pleasure principle, where we constantly pursue what we desire, often behaving somewhat impulsively. On the other hand, the superego represents the moral or ethical principle, guiding us on how we should behave to align with societal norms and values. These two often come into conflict, especially when our understanding of human nature is still immature and our principles are unclear. In such situations, we tend to chase after immediate pleasures driven by the ego, while disregarding potential harm to ourselves in the long run. As we mature, we learn to harmonize pleasure with correctness, finding happiness in doing what is right. However, the ego and the superego frequently clash within us, akin to a willful child and a responsible parent. To reconcile these conflicting aspects, Freud introduced the concept of the ego. The ego's role is to mediate between the ego and superego, encouraging compromise. It persuades us to be less impulsive when the superego suggests that we should temper our desires in accordance with ethical standards. Though the ego tries to strike a balance, it's not always successful. Some individuals, when unable to find harmony between the ego and superego, may find themselves making irrational decisions. Pursuing personal pleasure excessively can lead to self-inflicted pain, not just for oneself, but often for others as well. Certain individuals may believe they're doing what is right, but struggle with achieving success. This internal conflict can be perplexing. However, success isn't solely determined by being a good person. Understanding and following certain principles and rules are also essential. Being kind-hearted is admirable, but without wisdom, one may not be able to handle situations effectively, which diminishes one's value. Sometimes thinking of oneself as a good person while not understanding the underlying principles may lead to feelings of injustice when seemingly less virtuous individuals achieve success. In reality, the perception that goodness alone is enough is flawed. True success requires a combination of goodness and wisdom. In one's youth, it's common to act on impulse and prioritize immediate pleasure, much like an animal or a child who eats when hungry, drinks when thirsty, and cries when denied. However, as we grow older, we come to understand the importance of balance. We realize that having 3 meals a day is essential for our well-being, and we may even skip a meal if necessary. The journey from the pleasure principle to the principle of correctness, where correctness brings happiness, is a fundamental part of human growth and maturity. So, should we be more impulsive or more correct in our actions? The answer becomes clearer as we progress in our personal development. Now, let's shift our focus to the famous philosophical school known as existentialism. Existentialism emphasizes the compatibility of human nature and divinity. This means that within our human nature, there exists a divine aspect, and within divinity, there exists humanity. Existentialist philosophers believe that humans possess the potential for divinity, and that by developing and understanding this aspect, we can attain a state of selflessness where we can contribute to our country and society without ego-driven desires. Finally, we mentioned Voltaire, a renowned philosopher who pondered the ancient Chinese Empire over 200 years ago. He believed that the Chinese way of life was related to religion, but distinct from the monotheistic religions of the West. Although Voltaire didn't find definitive answers, he speculated that Chinese culture might conceal some ancient secrets, a mystery that continues to intrigue us. In summary, today we delved into the inherent nature of human psychology, the interplay between the ego, superego, and the ego and the existentialist perspective on the compatibility of human nature and divinity. We hope these discussions will inspire further contemplation on our inner selves, as well as exploration into philosophy and culture. Thank you, everyone.